Welcome to D2's channel where he likes to freaking watch this specific show just because he wants to see his favorite Santina Morella.
D2 Word Life here, and do you always have to steal my intro lately?
No, I don't have to, but I can.
Ugh. But anyway, just like always, I'm here with Rip always freaking steals my intro tides. I guess that's revenge for when we play Call of Duty, because I steal his freaking tags and kill confirms, so he steals my intro for these videos. And no, I do not like Santino in drag, thank you very much. We talked about this last week during the Backlash review. Oh, and speaking of Santino wearing drag, aka Santina, this week we're reviewing his choice, which was WrestleMania 25. I'm not going to say because I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long with this bitching.
Anniversary.
It's WrestleMania 25. That's all I'm going to say. I don't care.
Anniversary.
I don't care about the branding. I don't want to spend like 72 years arguing about the fucking branding here.
25th anniversary.
You're really tempting me to say it, but no, I'm not gonna. I just want to get this done. Anyway, this event took place on April 5th, 2009 in Houston, Texas at the Reliance Stadium with an attendance of 72,744. And the commentators for this event were Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, and your boy Michael Cole.
Nope, your boy Michael Cole.
No, it's your boy Michael Cole.
Nope.
And the ring announcers for this event were Lillian Garcia and Justin Roberts, both representing the Raw and SmackDown brands at this point. And it's ironic, we're reviewing WrestleMania 25 literally in reverse order because we did Backlash 09 last week.
Yes.
Ugh. Oh, and before I forget, I know this is Ivor. I know, so right now I'd just like to take the time to talk about the 2009 Hall of Fame class. I know we're just going to forget about it when we get to the point where they're actually like talked about in the show. So the 2009 Hall of Fame class were the Funk brothers, which was Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk, the Von Erich family.
The late great Terry Funk.
Well, back then he was still alive, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Von Erich family was inducted. Then you had Howard Finkel, Coco Beware, Cowboy Boy Watts, Ricky Steamboat, who we'll talk about later on in this review, and of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Which is ironic, because of his Hall of Fame induction with Bret Hart earlier this year, at time of recording, he's now a two-time Hall of Famer.
Yes. So is Bret Hart.
Actually, technically, Bret Hart's now a three-time Hall of Famer. For his single career, his tag team with Jim Neidhart, and now his immortal moment with that match with Austin.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we talk about the main card here, shout out to the pre-show match from this event, which featured WWE Tag Champions Carlito and Primo, the two brothers. Remember that tag team?
Carlito and Primo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they
the Colon brothers.
Yep. And during the pre-show for this event, they defeated the team of Miz and John Morrison, who were the World Tag Champions.
Or as a lot of people would call them, the Coen brothers.
Yeah, that's probably what you called them.
No, that's what a lot of people called them, and I'm like, no, it's the Cologne brothers.
Not the Coen shit brothers. Well, anyhow, they defeated the Miz and John Morrison, who were the World Tag Champions at the time, to unify both sets of tag team titles. Before they were morphed into one, and then later on, years later, separated back into two, and then one again, and then now two. The tag titles have a really weird history in the WWE like that.
Yeah.
And of course, Nicole Scherzinger. I'm terrible with names. She was one of the singers for the Pussycat Dolls at the time, sang "America the Beautiful." I'm bad at names. Okay.
That's not all he's bad at. He's bad at words, too.
Look who's talking, Mr. Can't pronounce the number 11.
11.
And also, I can barely make out half your damn text you send me either, so you can't type apparently either.
I said speak, not type.
Yeah, sometimes I have to sit there and try to
I don't even type it. I fucking just speak. Fucking speak to type.
Text or speech to text.
Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes.
So whenever I'm saying a fucking word, it comes up and it's like, oh, so you meant to say this word. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and there I am reading your little text that you sent me, and I'm just like, okay, I think I have to decode this and put words I think you meant just to make this make sense. Oh, boy. But anyway, getting on to the main card now, the first match we're about to talk about. The opening contest of WrestleMania 25 was the Money in the Bank ladder match. And before I get to that, yeah, the opening package showed some of the superstars talking about their favorite WrestleMania moment in the video package to open up the show. Then after all the opening pyro, everything was done, we get to the first match, which was the Money in the Bank ladder match, which saw CM Punk versus Kane versus Mark Henry versus MVP versus Shelton Benjamin versus Kofi Kingston versus Christian versus Finlay.
Yep.
God, this match was wild, just like all freaking Money in the Bank matches are. But I think this one was slightly better than the one we seen from WrestleMania 24 when we did that review. With all the chaotic stuff they put together during this one.
Well, it also didn't have Ric Flair in it.
Oh, yeah, I get it. We all know when we watched WrestleMania 22 for that review, you enjoyed Ric Flair nearly dying when he got suplexed off that ladder.
That would be you.
But yeah, they fought all over the place, including onto the outside. One particular one was when Shelton Benjamin freaking dove off the top of the ladder and hit a Swanton bomb on everyone on the outside of the ring. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was a good spot. That's a good highlight from this match. I think that still continues to get replayed when talking about Money in the Bank. Right?
Yeah.
I think we also had a ladder bridge at one point where one of the participants actually landed in. Yeah, and then freaking Kofi Kingston ended up freaking drop kicking, I believe, Christian and Shelton Benjamin when they got a whole ladder, plus did a boom drop on both of them with a ladder right there. And all I can think about is like, wow, that hurt Kofi Kingston as equally as it did his opponents. Am I right?
Yep.
And after a bunch more spots, painful looking spots, the match came to an end when Kane and CM Punk were fighting on top of the ladder, and Kane had his hand around Punk's neck, looking like he was going to choke slam Punk off the ladder to grab the briefcase. But Punk reversed it with a series of kicks, knocking Kane off down into the ladder abyss.
Yep.
And with that, CM Punk was able to retrieve the briefcase and win the Money in the Bank ladder match for his second year in a row. The only person to win the Money in the Bank ladder match twice, I may add. And yes, there have been other people who cashed in the Money in the Bank contract at least twice in their career, but I don't count those because they won their second briefcase in singles matches. Yes, I'm talking about Edge and The Miz here when I say that. Right?
Yeah.
And what are some other spots that you thought were great that I didn't mention? Because I know there's a bunch of them I didn't mention from this ladder match. I'm not really going through these matches in detail. So what's your thoughts? So what spot stood out to you, and what are your thoughts on this ladder match?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was just a car crash. I couldn't take my eyes away.
And you're just like, dang. Right? I mean,
Yes.
to see all the car crash spots and everything else, you're going to have to watch this match for yourself at this event. I thought it was a good, chaotic way to open up WrestleMania 25. It got everyone hyped for the show. And do I believe CM Punk winning twice in a row was the right decision? Yeah. And yeah, but everyone at the time felt that Kane should have won the Money in the Bank ladder match, which they had a very good argument to be made. Kane was a veteran there, but he would end up winning a Money in the Bank ladder match later on, over a year later, and we'll get to that event when we get to that event. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not mentioning any of the backstage stuff anymore. That was just a waste of time. But speaking of a waste of time, oh boy, here we go. Before the next match even fucking started, which was the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, I felt like I almost put my goddamn laptop on mute when I was watching this. And that's the part where none of the women or divas got any entrances. Instead, all of them had to come out during Kid Rock's little mini concert. So what do you think about that? I know a lot of people didn't really like the Kid Rock mini concert from WrestleMania 25.
I did.
I mean, it was all right, but it's not what you really... A little mini concert's not really what you expect when you think of WrestleMania. Yes, superstars have had custom entrances from the bands that play their theme song, but a little mini concert just for all the divas to come out just so they can have a special surprise entrance just sneak out there. That's pretty much what this was.
Well, they asked Kid Rock to do it, and he's like, yeah, but I want to debut my new single at that time. So they said, yeah, sure.
Which I believe his new single at the time was his song So Hot, the last one he played.
Yes.
The only song he sang that I kind of like was the All Summer Long song that he performed there.
Yeah. I would have liked how he would have done it, like he did with The Undertaker when he first came out to his music.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the American Badass theme that he had.
Yes.
The Kid Rock version, not the other version he would have later.
Yes. The one that he came out to before, that was the Kid Rock.
So yeah, the 25 Diva Battle Royal, the crown Miss WrestleMania had legends and current had legends and current super divas or women at the time all competing in it.
Yeah.
But and they had your woman Mae Young as a special guest timekeeper.
I know she's yours.
Yeah. No. She was your favorite at that time.
She was your favorite, especially when she gave birth to the hand to Mark Henry's sexual chocolate.
But since we're talking about it, even though they really didn't matter, might as well just go over who was in the freaking 25 Diva Battle Royal, because no one knew really who was in it until they were eliminated, and not by traditional means. oh, if they just get thrown outside the ring, regardless whether it was over the top rope, through the rope, under the middle rope, whatever, or bottom rope, they'd be eliminated. You see how women's wrestling got treated back then? This is why this shit sucks. Right? So the other participants in the match were Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Eve Torres, Gail Kim, Jackie Gady, or Miss Jackie, whatever you want to call her, legend.
Miss Jackie.
The greatest singer in the world, Jillian Hall.
Your girl.
No. Joy Giovanni was in it. Who remembers her from the Attitude Era? Never. I really didn't. Right.
I just remember her from the Big Show segment.
Or Ruthless Aggression Era, I meant to say. You had Katie Lee Virgil in there, Kelly, Layla, Maurice, which is the Mrs. wife.
Yes.
Melina was in it. Michelle McCool, recent WWE Hall of Famer as of 2024, and Miss Undertaker was in it.
You mean as in 2025?
Or 2025. God damn, you got me so debated about the 24-25 debate, I forget what fucking year it is. Mickey James, Molly Holly, which the last time we talked about a Molly Holly match was one where she got her head shaved.
Yes.
Natalia, who still wrestles today. Nikki Bella. Rosa Mendez. Remember Rosa Mendez?
Yeah.
Then we had Tiffany in there. Not Tiffany Stratton, but another person who was the ECW general manager at one point during this time period. Toria Wilson, Victoria, and Sunny. I bet Tammy.
You forgot Santina.
Oh, I'll get to that one in a minute. And speaking of sunny, I bet she's not having very sunny days today in this time period right now, if you know what I mean.
No.
Matter of fact, I heard freaking Tammy Shitch's days are like cold and full of steel today, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, none of those names that I mentioned matters. You want to know why none of those names I mentioned that were in this Battle Royal matters? Because none of them won the damn thing. It freaking ended when... It ended when a mystery diva ended up eliminating... What was it? Beth Phoenix over the top rope.
Yes.
Last to win the freaking Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. And even freaking Jerry Lawler was like, there's a diva in there I don't even recognize. Oh God, this diva has 5 o'clock shadow.
No, it's the only diva with a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, who are you? Oh, I'm Santina Morella, Santino's sister from Italy.
More like it was Santino wearing drag, and this whole segment was shit, and yes, Santino wearing drag won the goddamn Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Fuck that match. I never want to talk about it again.
Oh, we'll talk about it again, because now he's in TNA, and he was looking at his daughter's crown, saying, oh, I was thinking about my sister, Santina.
If TNA management had any sense, they would not have Santino bring that character back.
He runs TNA as the director of authority.
I know, but he should never appear as that character in TNA.
Uh-huh.
And what did Santina do after winning that? Danced around with that damn Miss WrestleMania sash around her freaking his body. This was shit. And people wonder why women's wrestling sucked back then. It's way better now because this is something they would never, ever do in the modern day.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, they could. And then there'd be a lot of backlash to it.
No, because it would actually be better with Miss WrestleMania for this day and age, because we'd actually see like Selena Vega,
I'm talking about
Becky
the result of
Lynch.
how this one ended, not all the women now.
No, they can still have someone cross-dress.
Yeah, I bet that would be negatively viewed upon, though.
Not really, no.
Well, it was shite then, and I'm pretty sure if they tried it now, I don't know how the general population or the main freaking like population of WWE would freaking react to this. Some if they tried that today, but I'm pretty sure it'd be a negative response from the fans.
Yeah, I'd still find it hilarious.
I mean, we're talking about the same community as of right now who hates Jey Uso's world title reign for some damn reason. I don't know why.
Well, they can all suck Gunther's tiny little nuts
Yeah.
because he tapped out like a little bitch.
So yeah, I'm done talking about that freaking Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. It was a piece of shit and it was a waste of time.
It was your favorite segment.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. You told me that.
I never told you shit. I said this segment was shit, just like the Santina versus freaking Beth Phoenix match we reviewed last week during our 2009 Backlash review. I even said that one was shit. So yeah, you can't prove me wrong there, buddy. So we go straight to the next match, which was an elimination handicap match. It was 3-on-1, and it was the team of Ricky Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka, and Roddy Piper with Ric Flair in their corner, taking on Chris Jericho. Now this story, and supposedly this was originally pitched to be a celebrity match between Jericho and Mickey Rourke, who Mickey Rourke just starred in the movie The Wrestler back that came out like before this event. Which that is a good movie.
A couple months before.
That was a good movie. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that movie?
I liked it.
Yep. But I guess some backlash freaking came from the whole thing, and you know the whole match with Jericho and Rourke was called off, which they had to pivot in another direction, which is why Jericho was making fun of these legends with association with the movie at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Which is kind of ironic that back then Chris Jericho was the one freaking being hateful and bashing on all the legends back then, and now, as of 2025, he's actually considered a legend.
Yeah.
Even though he works actively in AEW, he's a veteran. He's considered a legend at this point in his career.
Yeah.
So if he were to reprise this, if he were to reprise a storyline like this today, I'd be like, dude, you got to take yourself out. At this point, I'm just gonna cut to the chase here. This match wasn't really good. For a good portion, it was like the legends like very softly beating on Chris Jericho here. I mean, Jericho looked the slightest in trouble with Roddy Piper, but when Roddy Piper got the sleeper hold logged on him, but even that didn't work.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka was the first one easily eliminated after Jericho eliminated him by submission with the walls of Jericho. All right?
Yep.
And of course, after Piper attempted that sleeper hold like I was talking about, Jericho ended up hitting a enziguri on Piper and eliminating him by pinfall. And the only legend of this team that actually had a chance against Jericho was Ricky Steamboat, who recently got inducted into the Hall of Fame the night before. All right?
Yeah.
Hence why they had their singles match literally a month later, which, if they were going to go that route, they should have just had the singles match between Steamboat and Jericho here at this event instead. It would have been better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he was fighting all three of them anyways.
But nonetheless, Steamboat, unlike Piper and Snuka at this time, actually held his own against Jericho, including hitting like arm drags and chops, and a plancha. Not bad for someone at Steamboat's age at that point. I think Steamboat was in his 50s, like we discussed last week. Or late 50s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, that wasn't enough to put Jericho down, and after a little bit of back and forth with Steamboat, Jericho hit a code breaker on Steamboat to win the match. Overall. And then after the match, before the match even started, they showed Mickey Rourke in the audience, and then after the match, Jericho got on a mic and literally challenged freaking Mickey Rourke to come in the ring and fight him right then and there. Right?
Yeah.
Even freaking punking out freaking Mickey Rourke, calling him, saying, "You coward? You coward? You ain't gonna get in this ring, you coward." You know, that type of trash talk. And Mickey Rourke got in there and he held his own with this little scrap with Jericho going up, and that had Jericho reeling in the corner. And this whole segment ended when freaking Rourke knocked Jericho out with a freaking punch to the face. With a hard punch to the face.
Yeah.
Thus ending the segment, and Rourke and Flair were celebrating in the ring. Your thoughts on this 3-on-1 handicap match? Ending included, by the way.
It was decent. I would have liked it if they actually put up more of a fight, but that was decent for them, for their age.
Yeah, I mean, did Jericho have better matches in his career? You're damn right, Jericho had way better matches in his career. And obviously, did Piper, Steamboat, and Snook have better matches in their heyday? Yes, they did. This to me wasn't really the greatest match ever.
It was also just funny as hell seeing Mickey Rourke punch out Jericho.
Exactly. I mean, that was the only...
Mickey Rourke was a boxer.
Yeah.
Before he became
an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them had way better matches, especially the three legends when they were younger, but to me, it was like the weakest match so far. Well, it's not the weakest match of the night. Put it like this freaking handicap match looked like Michaels versus Taker by comparison to that Battle Royal that we just spoke about before it happened. Not by much, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, the next match we're about to talk about is that Extreme Rules match between Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Okay, the backstory to this one was disturbing. Okay, I get they wanted, the brothers to do an Extreme Rules match, which if rumor is to be believed, Matt Hardy turning on Jeff Hardy at the Royal Rumble of 2009, which actually happened, by the way. According to rumor that I remember reading about, that wasn't the original plan. The original plan was supposed to be a returning Christian to come back as a heel and screw Jeff Hardy, giving Edge the WWE Championship at the time. From what I remember reading about.
Christian signed with TNA for one more year.
Actually, no. Christian's deal with TNA expired. Remember, he was part of that Money in the Bank ladder match at this show, and he was actually signing with WWE, but because word leaked out about his return, they decided to pivot in this direction. Which ultimately, looking at Edge and Matt Hardy's freaking history, didn't make sense. Why would Matt Hardy let Edge, his mortal enemy for life, win that match? Right?
To fight him for it?
Yeah. But anyway, Matt Hardy ended up being demonic and twisted, and talking about, Jeff Hardy getting ran off the road, and of course, Jeff Hardy's pyro going off in his face after costing Jeff Hardy the championship. And everything else. But the one that was disturbing is when they talked about Jeff Hardy's house fire that happened about a year prior to this. I still remember that freaking promo. That was sick. Right?
Yeah, that was kind of fucked.
I'm like, okay, that's too real, because if you're involving someone's deceased pet, that's kind of fucked up. Right?
And him saying that he was the one that set the fire.
Yes. And they didn't show this during the recap video, but I remember that promo. I remember watching that promo when it happened on SmackDown. After freaking Matt Hardy said that, he pulled out the freaking collar that his brother's dog was wearing.
Yep.
And I'm just like... And as a teenager watching this, I knew this was all scripted, but I'm just like, wow, they fucking did that, making Matt Hardy look like a total dickbag. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and being a freaking pet owner, specifically a dog owner like you are, yeah, that one hit deep. Am I right?
Yep.
But anyway, that's when Jeff Hardy came out, said that, called his brother sick, twisted into minute. He goes, and so am I, and that's what set up this Extreme Rules match when they started brawling. Right?
Yep.
But you know, just like what I mentioned during the Backlash review last week, nobody wanted to see the Hardys fight each other. Well,
yes, I did.
Well, I was kind of intrigued back then. Now I just don't think it was a good idea, but back then I was intrigued by it. I mean, you know what's funny? I remember, and this is a true story. I ain't making this up. I remember watching the Royal Rumble live of 09 when that happened. And I shortly went online on MySpace because, yes, that was the social media back then when word spread around about Matt Hardy turning on Jeff here. And I even said, yep, I have a feeling this is going to be an Extreme Rules match at WrestleMania 25. I remember saying that back then before it even took place.
Yeah.
And when they announced it as Extreme Rules, I'm like, I called it. Right? Because, yeah. Not to brag or anything, even I can predict shit sometimes way back then, like I do now. Right?
Yeah.
But these two went at it with weapon shots galore here. I'm not gonna name all the spots here, but one spot that I remember from this event was when Jeff Hardy jumped off the top of the top turnbuckle, or I think it was either the top turnbuckle, or I think he actually jumped off of a ladder through Matt Hardy that was between two tables. I remember that, right? Yeah, I think it was the top turnbuckle, really, but it doesn't matter. It was still an extreme spot, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, after some more back and forth and weapon shots here done, Jeff Hardy got Matt Hardy down, climbed up this huge ladder, and was attempting a freaking, leg drop from the top of the ladder, which Matt Hardy moved, so pretty much Jeff Hardy just did the preparation H-bomb, landing on his spine and ass on the canvas, which allowed Matt to gain the upper hand, and, well, Matt Hardy took a chair, put it over Jeff's head, and hit the Twisted Fate onto the chair to get the 3 count and the win. Now,
Or as he called it, the twist of hate.
Yeah. So, I know I didn't go through all the extreme spots here, but were there any moments that stuck out to you, and what did you think about this Extreme Rules? Extreme Rules? What the hell is Extreme Rules? Extreme Rules match all the way through.
Let me speak your words!
Sometimes I stumble over words. Get over it, Mr. Can't Type or Talk.
Look who's talking, bitch.
Yeah. But anyway, your thoughts on this Extreme Rules match between the Hardy brothers here?
It was a good match. It was decently booked. Did they have a better match months after this? Yes, they did.
Do I believe the wrong person won?
Yes.
Maybe they should have given the first win to Jeff Hardy, but when it comes to long-term storytelling, I understand why they had Matt Hardy win the first encounter here. Even though I don't necessarily agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was good for what it was. It was extreme. It was good for what it was, but it could have used a little bit more time and Jeff Hardy winning. That's just my opinion. And I know there's others that disagree that said Matt Hardy should have won. That way their feud would have been able to continue, which it did. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I thought it was a good match overall. You know what's not a good match overall? The next match we're about to talk about, and it's going to take us longer to talk about this match than the actual match from Bell to Bell happening. And yes, I am talking about the Intercontinental Championship match that saw JBL defend against Rey Mysterio. Now JBL came out, he cut a promo saying that he's gonna freaking show everyone the most dominant victory in WrestleMania and that he was gonna make history at this show. Guess you can say he wasn't lying. However, when Rey Mysterio came out, I do like his Joker inspired outfit, the Heath Ledger version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was cool to see back again at this particular WrestleMania. And of course, before the match could even start properly, of course, we know JBL was on top of Mysterio, just beating the heck out of him before the referee could even ring the bell. So, once the referee rang the bell for the match to start, Rey Mysterio reversed JBL's offense, hit a 619 on the JBL, and then freaking pinned JBL for the 3 count in 22 seconds to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Overall, that match was crap. Rey Mysterio and JBL both deserved better, since both of them were veterans of their craft at this point. But what happened after the match?
JBL quit.
Yes. JBL got on the microphone and goes, I got something to say. And after a round of boos, he was like, I quit! Pretty much the same thing I want to do after talking about that Battle Royal earlier on.
Sorry, your contract says you can't.
Yeah. And JBL just stood around looking like, okay, I am in shock. I cannot believe what I just said, but in reality, this would be JBL's last match as an active competitor, considering he would officially retire from wrestling literally that night afterwards to focus on other things. And now I think he's still a backstage associate with WWE these days.
No, he goes to different promotions.
Yeah. I mean, he does a little bit of everything nowadays when it comes to wrestling and other stuff in business and indoor and other businesses ventures that he's doing now. Right?
Yeah.
So good for him, I guess. Right? So now we get to the big one, the match that everybody remembers this WrestleMania for. And the match that everyone says is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. And honestly, I can't disagree with that statement, especially after watching this on repeat viewing. You know what match I'm talking about? I'm talking about Shawn Michaels taking on The Undertaker. Mr. WrestleMania versus The Streak. Their first encounter at WrestleMania, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously I'm not going to go through this spot for spot, hold for hold, move for move, because one, we'd be sitting here forever, and two, That's just too much work to do. I can only point out the big spots and the moves that stuck out to me, along with you saying the same things. Right?
Yeah.
And the backstory of this, Shawn Michaels won the right to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And the storyline, the storyline was interesting because it was heaven versus hell. That's the story they went for here, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Even with The Undertaker saying to Michaels, sometimes it's hell trying to get to heaven, I'm just like, yeah, that's a powerful statement. The
thing is that Shawn Michaels wanted to have a match at Mania, which he didn't have a match at Mania because he had lost the Royal Rumble. And so he went on to a tirade saying, "Oh, I'm going to do something that's never been done. I'm going to beat The Undertaker." And then his trick, which got on The Undertaker's nerve.
Yeah.
And literally fucking he agreed to it.
Yeah. And after all that, both of them had their special entrances at this one. Shawn Michaels' entrance literally came down from the rafters like he was coming down from heaven.
Yeah.
Because Shawn Michaels is a born-again Christian, so, he's religious like that.
Yeah.
And he was wearing an Undertaker-inspired outfit, but instead of all black, it was all white.
Yes.
Which I'm like, damn, that's a good freaking production look there for the entrance.
You can call him Mr. White.
Mr. White.
And you can call The Undertaker Mr. Black.
And then, but then Michaels then freaking took all that stuff off took off that white suit when he was like being surrounded by like pyro. And then he made his regular entrance to the ring. And then I don't even need to tell you about the Undertaker's entrance. That's special in its own right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ugh. Of course, the Undertaker did come out ascending from the floor, essentially ascending from hell, right?
Yeah.
Then he made his long freaking walk to the ring with his music playing, his legendary entrance that he always did back then. And then after the entrance, the match was on. Whew, I can't freaking go. Last time we talked about a Michaels Taker match was either their Hell in a Cell encounter or their casket match encounter. But this one, I believe, was better than both of those, if possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And both men were going at it fast paced at the beginning, striking each other. And each of them having to counter their signature moves. And then Michaels took advantage when he faked a little knee injury, giving him the freaking advantage of the match temporarily.
Yeah, he hit him with the sweet chin music.
And, that didn't obviously work. Right?
Nope. And when that failed, he went for the crossface.
Which that didn't work either.
Nope.
And of course, also during this little encounter, The Undertaker did try to fight back and lock in the Hell's Gate, but Michaels escaped that. And freaking...
Well, that was after the second attempt of him trying to do the figure four.
Yes.
Because he locked in the first attempt.
Yeah.
But Taker got to the ropes. He tried it again, and freaking Taker literally put in the Hell's Gate submission. Freaking Shawn Michaels was trying to flip-flop and everything like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah.
Or a fish out of water trying to get to the ropes.
Yeah, and then after dodging a bunch of The Undertaker's chokeslam attempts, Michaels did attempt another sweet chin muse, but The Undertaker blocked it. And then they went on to the outside. And Michaels ended up going for a moonsault, only for The Undertaker to avoid it when Michaels went splat. Right?
Yep.
And of course, we gotta talk about the spot, okay? The spot that almost killed this match, and possibly almost killed Taker himself. You know the spot I'm talking about, when Michaels was on the outside, Taker was inside the ring, and then the Undertaker then attempted his signature suicide dive over the top rope, only for Michaels to pull a cameraman into the way, which was Sim Snuka, Jimmy Snuka's son. But yeah, Jimmy Snuka pretty much almost totally missed Taker, and Taker almost landed right on his head.
He almost landed right face first into the fucking camera.
Exactly. That was a scary spot to see. It could have gone a whole lot better. Right? And I guess the reasoning for this is that Snuka wasn't in the right position. He was standing too far back. He couldn't even catch the Undertaker that good or that great. However, the Undertaker was not injured from this. He almost was, though. He came inches away. Which, still, that would have been bad if the match ended like that. Right?
Yeah.
Because then you know something serious was going on, right?
Yep.
And of course, after Michaels rolled the referee back into the ring, because the referee was knocked out prior to this, referee started counting out the Undertaker, but Undertaker was able to get back into the ring at the count of 9, keeping the streak alive. Imagine if that's how they ended the streak with Michaels winning by count out. That would have been bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
But hypothetically speaking, it could have happened. They were teasing it. Right?
Yep.
And of course, both men started continuously battling each other, including not attempting, but actually executing their finishing moves, which one would kick out of the other one's finishing move. Right? In awesome fashion.
Yeah. Well, I was the Undertaker trying to do the Shawn Michaels elbow.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I mean, the Undertaker, and when I mean that, Undertaker executed the last ride and the choke slam. Michaels got out of it. Michaels hit a sweet chin music twice. The Undertaker kicked out. And then the Undertaker nailed a tombstone onto Michaels, which Michaels then kicked out. I think that gave us the meme-worthy face of the Undertaker looking like, what the hell? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know the image I'm talking about when I say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both proving why they are the masters of the craft, especially when it comes to WrestleMania. Right?
Yep.
But then, Michaels freaking fought back. The Undertaker was groggy and was down and out, was down and out, a little dazed. And so Michaels decided, I'm going to go up to the top rope. And the Undertaker freaking got up. And then and Michaels attempted a moonsault off the top rope, only for Undertaker to catch him in midair and deliver one final tombstone to win the match.
Yep, that was actually fucking amazing. That fucking Shawn Michaels tried to go for the fucking elbow and then fuck you, catch you, tombstone.
Yeah, which this win extended the Undertaker's undefeated streak at the time to 17-0.
Well, you could also fucking say, because you could also see Shawn Michaels' face. He's like, oh shit.
Because he knew, right, when he was caught midair that he was done. He got caught. Right?
Yes.
And all the fans were split because both of them obviously were faces, legends, and they were both certified legends, and both obviously at the time future Hall of Famers, which obviously both are in the Hall of Fame now. And even the crowd was shouting, "This is awesome," right?
Yeah, fucking Shawn Michaels was like, okay, this is it. I'm finishing it. Gonna do my elbow. Fucking Undertaker's like, fuck you. Gets up. Fucking catches him in midair. Fucking, you can literally see the shock on Michaels' face. And literally he's like, oh shit.
And of course, this was.
And he could not kick out after that. He got caught full force, just fucking coming down. Fucking got it turned into a fucking tombstone, which added more force.
Yes.
And that just knocked his ass out for the 3.
And of course, with this win, which set up 4 freaking great WrestleMania matches that Taker would have with both Michaels and Triple H.
Well, one for the coming year when he was still bugging the shit out of Taker, trying to get him to trying to do a rematch, career versus streak.
Yeah, I mean, this win would slowly lead to the rematch the following year, WrestleMania 26, when it was streak versus career in the main event, which, spoiler alert, Taker won. Actually, it's not a spoiler, it was years. We just have yet to review it. And after Michaels lost at WrestleMania, after following Michaels' match at WrestleMania 26, he never wrestled again.
He wrestled again. He wrestled at Saudi Arabia in 2018.
I will never acknowledge that, despite the fact that you made me review that piece of shit. I think I even said in that at the end of that video, fuck this match, I'm never acknowledging it. And I still stick with those words.
You acknowledge it.
But anyway, your thoughts on this match that everyone praises, saying it's the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. It's kind of hard to prove them wrong. It's kind of hard to prove them wrong. I watched this back for the review first time in years, and I'm like, yeah, it still holds up today. All right.
I don't say it's the greatest. I say it's one of the greatest, but it's not the greatest.
I mean, hell, I remember our WrestleMania main event one tier list recently, and the Undertaker's WrestleMania match tier list. I definitely put this one near the top of Hall of Fame, and there's a reason for it. It is that good.
Well, like I said, it wasn't their greatest match. It was one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, but it wasn't the greatest.
I mean, I think it was, to me, this match, when it comes to The Undertaker's WrestleMania matches specifically, I usually have this one or another one as my favorite WrestleMania Taker match. The other one, obviously, being the Hell in a Cell with Triple H.
Well, the Hell in a Cell with Triple H was the greatest because they threw everything. And I mean everything. Even Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Yeah, and Shawn Michaels was a referee for that match, too, if we remember correctly.
Yes, they threw everything. They threw the house, the kitchen sink, the toilet, everything.
Yeah. I mean, that...
And Taker still would not go down.
So, yeah, this match, along with that match, I kind of flip-flop back and forth, depending on how I feel on the day of which one was better. Because they're both equally as good, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
So we go on to the next match of the night, this was, by the way, this was my opinion. The Taker-Michaels match from WrestleMania 25 that we just talked about briefly should have been the main event. And obviously, if you're going to watch one match from this event, I'm telling you now in advance, before we even talk about our rating system here and our final grade, this is the match. Taker-Michaels is the match you need to see. You can just skip the rest.
Go fuck yourself.
You know that is true. To me, this was the match of the night of this show.
To you,
obviously.
maybe.
But anyway, after the crowd was all burnt out, we still had 2 more matches to go on this card. The first one that we're about to talk about here, the semi-main, was for the World Heavyweight Championship, and it was that triple threat match between Champion Edge, Big Show, and John Cena. Why Big Show was in this match when it should have just been a straight one-on-one with Edge and Cena, I don't know, but it was there.
It was supposed to be Edge versus Big Show, but John Cena was added to the match because he had dirt on Vicky that she didn't want let out. Yeah, he let out at the contract signing the week prior to WrestleMania 25.
With Vicky Guerrero flirting around with the Big Show. And John Cena even said the famous line, ripping off the famous freaking Lucy line, saying, "Oh, Vicky, you got some splaining to do."
No, he's like, "Oh, Vicky, looks like you have some explaining to do."
Yeah. Anyway, match was a triple threat match. Edge and Big Show made their respective entrances, but then, of course, John Cena at WrestleMania at this time had to have the special WrestleMania entrance.
Well, all of them could have had a special, but they didn't. Edge didn't want it. Big Show didn't want it. And so Cena's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna invite my friends and family to the damn show to freaking be. Actually, which came out to his Dr. Thugonomics theme song, which I think they should bring back for his heel.
Yeah, and it was just a bunch of John Cena clones coming out.
Yes, you couldn't find the real John Cena.
You couldn't see the real John Cena.
Like I said, you couldn't find the real John Cena.
Imagine if they ever came out with a Where's John Cena book, similar to Where's Waldo. I'd be like, we can't find him. All these pages are blank. But then, yeah, the real John Cena came out and parted and walked right through the middle of freaking all the freaking, like, clones of Cena. Right?
His friends and family, yes.
Yeah, and of course, at the start of the match, Vicky Guerrero was also brought down to ringside, who was in a wheelchair. Chavo Guerrero was freaking with her. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking those two started it's like the match began with brawling between the three, and then there was teamwork from Big Show and Edge. But then
the funny thing is that Edge was saying in the match is always like, "Oh, John, we should team up against the Big Show. Big Show, we should team up against John." They're both like, "Fuck that," and he just started pounding on Edge, and then going after each other. And then John Cena literally fucking hits that leg drop off the top rope.
Oh, and
the Big Show prone outside.
Oh, and there's a spot that a Big Show was tied in the ropes for like 11 years. When Edge
that was
and Cena
after the leg drop where he got back into the freaking ring to do the choke slam.
Yeah.
And he hits that on John Cena. Literally freaking Edge stuns him. And freaking just Cena takes out Edge. And freaking then he does the shoulder block, which he normally does for his 5-knuckle shuffle. And freaking got Big Show tied up into the freaking ropes for, like you said, 11 years.
Yeah, and well, Edge and Cena went at it. Freaking Big Show was able to kick him off, when they tumbled on the outside of the ring. Even Big Show was yelling at the ref, "Get me out of here! Damn, do your job!
Get me out of here!"
I'm like, Big Show couldn't get out.
I liked how fucking Vicky got up onto the freaking after Chavo got freaking FU'd.
Yep.
He fucking or as they called it, the attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
Fucking got taken out. Then Vicky jumps up onto the ring apron. Freaking distracts John Cena. Edge tries to freaking spear him. Fucking he
Cena
moves.
Versus an Edge spears Vicky.
Yes.
And of course, at one
and
time,
it's bad that the line that John Cena said to Vicky was running through all my mind. Because I was like, Edge, you have some explaining to do.
Of course, we need to talk about the spot where Edge speared Big Show through the guardrail at one point out into the crowd.
Yeah.
I think
Timekeeper's area.
Yeah. I don't remember if that was before or after the freaking rope tie spot, but I felt like I should mention it here.
Before.
Yeah, but either way. Yeah, but either way, freaking But either way, the match pretty much was near the end when, as you mentioned, Edge accidentally speared Vicky off the ring apron. Then Big Show started pummeling on Edge in the corner, which led to Cena coming back, lifting Big Show and Edge over onto his shoulder in the attitude adjustment position, or FU position. Whatever you want to call it, it's the same damn move. And Edge was like, if he hits this move with me on top of Big Show's weight's going to come crushing down on me. Fuck that. Right?
Yeah, the fucking Big Show, when they were doing the Legends panel show and everything, well, even said, he's like, because Mark is like, how did you like the fact that Cena lifted you and Edge on top when Edge was on top of, and he's like, well, if that would have hit, Edge would have been a pancake.
Yeah, that sums it up. So Edge was like, fuck that, and got off of Big Show's back before the move could be executed. So,
yeah, because Big Show at that point, he was supposed to be 484 pounds, but he missed that mark. So he was 500 and something pounds at that time.
So yeah, Cena hit the attitude adjustment on the Big Show, or FU on the Big Show. Then Edge tried to freaking attack Cena, only for Cena to FU Edge on top of Big Show, sitting him out, crashing out into the ring, and then Cena pinned the Big Show to win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
Bringing this triple threat match to a close. And Cena won because Cena always wins, lol. Your thoughts on this one?
This is where everyone called him Big Match Cena, or Super Cena.
Yeah, because no matter the odds stacked against Cena at the time, he always wins. Nowadays, he has to cheat to win, like we've seen at WrestleMania 41, but that's beside the point.
He did not cheat. He could have done it by himself.
Oh, yeah? Had Roman Reigns did the same thing to Cody Rhodes a year prior to WrestleMania 40, you would have called him a fucking cheater and an asshole. You fucking hypocrite. So you can't justify the way Cena won his 17th title. So what you're telling me is, if any other heel did the same thing Cena did, it's bad, it's fucked up, it's bullshit, but if Cena does it, it's okay. Fuck you.
It's called double standards, bitch.
Okay, I know I'm ranting about stuff that's totally irrelevant to the event we're reviewing that happened in the current day, but it's still hypocritical of you to do. But yeah, I thought the match was okay. It could have been better without the Big Show in it, but it is what it is. You can't change match. Edge and Cena would actually go on to have a better match 3 weeks later at Backlash, which we already talked about, where Cena got the spotlight put on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cracked myself up. Next up, they did the whole Hall of Fame freaking inductees, which I already mentioned at the start of this review. And of course, after all that, Austin drove his ATV around the ringside and then toasted the fans with a beer bash in the ring.
Yep.
That's pretty much the gist of that. Right?
Yep.
Oh boy, now we get to talk about the main event, which, I'm sorry, but with the storyline with this main event could have been better. Because the main event of this was Triple H defending the WWE Championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Randy Orton. And in the months leading up to WrestleMania, Orton freaking tortured the McMahon family, tortured Triple H and his wife, which resulted in Triple H breaking into Orton's house and beating the holy crap out of him, making this personal.
Well, that's because literally he handcuffed Triple H to the top rope after he RKO'd his wife and punted her in the head.
And actually freaking gave freaking an unconscious Stephanie a freaking kiss right in front of Triple H. And couldn't do shit about it. Now this...
And is it bad that when Triple H knocked on his door and he's like, Oh, don't answer that because they're like, oh, it's pizza or whatever or something like that. Fucking.
It was really Triple H.
All I could think was, here's Triple H.
Yeah.
When he fucking crashed down the door with the sledgehammer.
Oh, the little shining spoof.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say something else. I'd be like, yeah, Triple H bashing out the door, and he goes, hey, Randy, here's Sledgy. I thought that's what you were going to say, but hey, what you said also works. Right?
Well, it was either that or Sludgy, yes.
But yeah, I mean, with the whole storyline built to this should have been like a no disqualification match or a no holds barred match, or hell, they could have gone as far as making this match unsanctioned, which meant that if there was an injury, WWE would not be responsible for it in any capacity.
Yeah, but with Randy's fucking snake tongue,
Did they make it the stipulation that would have fit this rivalry? No.
No, like I said, Randy used his snake tongue to make it where if Triple H got disqualified or counted out, he would win the title.
Yeah, that's a bullshit stipulation to begin with.
Yes, and then fucking a month prior, he did the same fucking thing for Backlash.
Yeah, I did the same thing for Backlash in that 6-man tag, with the stipulation being if any member of Orton's team got the pin, he would win the title anyway.
Yes.
Which we already discussed last week during the Backlash 09 review, and even that was crap. Don't get me wrong, I think the right man won the feud 3 weeks later with Orton winning, but still doesn't justify why we had the stipulation here at WrestleMania 25 in the main event, where if Triple H got countered or DQ'd, he'd lose the title. That stipulation was stupid. Right?
Yep.
And I'm just thinking to myself, who's booking this crap? Oh yeah, it's Vince. He's booking this shit. Yeah, he's out of touch with logic at this point, and it showed.
No, Vince was in the hospital. It was John Laurinaitis.
No, according to the story, it was Vicky Guerrero, the GM of Raw at that point. Or SmackDown at that point, right? Well,
yeah, but they still had to go through John Laurinaitis to get the okay.
Yeah. And of course, this match wasn't really like a blood feud match. It was like a slow burner back and forth match, rest holds galore, and everything else. Something that really doesn't spill blood feud to me. I mean, it got a little interesting when these two started fighting on the outside, and every time Triple H had a weapon in his hand, freaking referee kept yelling, no, I'll disqualify and you lose the title. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, I won.
Well, referee was reminding Triple because he didn't like Randy anyways.
And of course, Triple H and freaking Orton freaking both fought up in the where the announce tables were, which saw freaking Orton reverse a pedigree and attempt into a back body dropping Triple H to the Spanish announce tables. That was gone. Right?
Yeah, I liked how Jerry's like, well, Triple H is gone.
Yes.
How's his back not broken?
Exactly. And then of course, there had to be a rough bump, which is exactly what we got when friggin' Orton friggin' threw Triple H into the turnbuckle where the referee was standing and causing Triple H to collide with the referee, knocking him out of the match near the end here.
And fucking Randy brings in the sledgehammer and smiles.
And right when he was sliding into the ring to use the sledgehammer against Triple H freaking punt kicked Orton in the ropes.
Yes.
Using Orton's own devastating maneuver against him.
Right? Knocked him the fuck out.
And that was after freaking Orton executed the RKO onto Triple H, thus giving Triple H time to recover when he went outside of the sledgehammer to do that. Right?
Well, the thing is Randy hit the RKO within 3 fucking seconds of the match starting.
Oh, yeah.
He pandered too much. Went for the pin. Triple H kicked out. Triple H fucking hit the pedigree. He pandered too much.
Yeah, but
Randy kicked out.
Yeah, and that was at the start of the match. We should have said it was time out, but it is what it is. But yeah, Orton was in the ropes. Triple H freaking punt kicked Orton, and then Triple H took a sledgehammer. And mind you, the referee was still out at this point, right? So Orton got back in, and then Triple H used a sledgehammer, and he nailed Orton with it. And then Triple H then executed the pedigree to pin Orton to retain the championship.
After beating him in the head with his fist multiple times.
Yes.
He just kept punching and punching. I'm like, wow, you done grounding that meat, boy?
Yeah, so...
You're literally turning him into ground snake.
So, yeah, your thoughts... I know we just went through it briefly, but your thoughts on the Triple H Orton match from this event as a whole, from what you saw?
It was a good match.
I thought
it was entertaining.
I mean, I thought it was all right. I mean, Orton's selling the freaking goddamn punt kick to the head, unlike you in 2K. That's my one per video.
Unlike you as well.
That's my one per video. I fucking beat you to the joke. But yeah, that Silver looked like he was dead after getting hit in the friggin' head with Triple H's boot, right?
Well, he looked like you after you walked the 10 blocks at the Golden Wine Center at Raw.
And just think, next week I have to do it all over again.
Yes.
This time for a concert.
Yes.
Yeah, boy. Next week's going to be fun as hell at time of recording. But yeah, I thought it was okay. It wasn't the best WrestleMania main event I've seen, but it's not as bad as people seem to make it out to be. Yes, it could have been better with a, like I said, a no-holds-barred or a unsanctioned stipulation, but, you know, for what we got, it wasn't a bad main event. Trust me, I've seen worse WrestleMania main events than this one. Look at WrestleMania 33 as an example of that. Then again, do yourself a favor and don't watch that.
Yes.
So yeah, anyway, we go on to what I always call our favorite portion of the review, and that's our rating system. So, CM Punk winning the Money in the Bank ladder match for the second year in a row. Overall, I gave that one 4 out of 5.
4.5.
Seems fair enough. Santina winning the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Straight up fucking 0.
No, guys, don't let him fool you. He gives it a straight up 5 out of 5.
No, that's you. You gave it 5 out of 5 because you love shitty wrestling, apparently. I am more realistic, and I gave it 0 because fuck that match.
I gave it a half a star.
Of course you did. It don't even deserve that. Chris Jericho defeating Ricky Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka, and Roddy Piper in that elimination handicap match. Whatever. I was being generous, and I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5. I couldn't give any higher than that.
4.
Yeah. You enjoyed it just a tiny bit more than I did. Matt Hardy defeating Jeff Hardy in that Extreme Rules match. I gave that one 4 out of 5.
4.5.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio defeating JBL to win the Intercontinental Championship in 22 seconds. There's no rating I can give this one, so I just gave it 0 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
And trust me, I do not like giving Rey Mysterio matches a 0, but in this case, I kind of had to. Why'd you give that one 5 out of 5? The match from Bella Bell was only 22 seconds long.
Because it was hilarious.
Yeah, 22 seconds. Still longer than freaking Sheamus squashing Daniel Bryan 3 years later. After
only
this.
By a few seconds.
The Undertaker defeating Shawn Michaels to become 17-0 at WrestleMania. Easily the best match of the night. 5 out of 5.
5.5.
5.5 out of 5. You broke the scale again. Which is fair. John Cena defeating Edge in the Big Show to win the World Heavyweight Championship in that triple threat match, I gave 4 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
And of course, the main event with Triple H defeating Randy Orton to retain the WWE Championship, I gave that one 4 out of 5 as well.
5 out of 5.
Yeah, you would. Anyway, my personal final grade for WrestleMania 25 is a solid B-. I know, I'm starting to use plus and minuses again in my freaking grades to sum up how I actually feel about it.
Plus for me.
Yeah, you would. I just gave it a B- because there was some couple of shit matches on here that I would not want to go back and watch. So yeah, like I said, to me the show gets a B-. You give it A+, whatever. We all have our different opinions on this. So what grade would you give WrestleMania 25? I'm not calling it by its freaking... No, I'm as you, the viewer. Leave in the comments, what would you put for WrestleMania 25 as your letter grade? There's no wrong or right answers, and it's all just opinions. Ugh.
Everyone has opinions like assholes. They all stink.
Oh, boy.
Unless you're deep in where you flop like a fish.
Hey. Anyway, that's our thoughts about WrestleMania 25. So, next week is my choice for the review that we're going to be doing. And I was debating this all week of what event I actually want to cover, and it'll be the last freaking week before the 2025 Backlash event that literally happens a week from Saturday at time of recording, right?
Yep.
So, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go with a classic Backlash event. So, and this is an event that I've been wanting to see back again for a long ass time, and I know everyone calls this one of the greatest Backlash events ever, so we're just going to see how well that statement holds up. So, next week, you and I are going to be reviewing Backlash 2000. Which the main event of that was Triple H defending the WWE Championship against The Rock. And a lot of
some pretty decent matches, actually.
Yeah. And a lot of people say that Backlash 2000 was the show that WrestleMania 16 or WrestleMania 2000 should have been. So yeah, we'll see how that holds next week. So until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.